Compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Trustees and Freeholders was provided in the following manner. Published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Current, the Daily Journal, the Hamilton Gazette, and the Hamilton News, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the County Office Building, Atlantic City, the Stillwater Building, Northfield, and the County Clerk's Office in Banks Landing. Okay, we have an opening prayer.
Madam Chair, before you do the opening prayer, whoever has an open mic probably need to close it. Thank you.
I'll give it a try. Okay. Gracious and loving God, we give you thanks for the dream of what America could be, for the freedom to think, speak, and worship as we choose. We give you thanks for the human endeavor that enables us to share rights with others, even though we may disagree. We give thanks for richly endowing this land with prosperity and abundance. May we continue to share your blessings with others, that all the world may be as you have dreamed it will be. Amen. We face the flag for our flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay, I think, Madam Clerk.
I am in receipt of former Freeholder Chairman Frank Formica's resignation, and it reads as follows. September 11th, 2020. Dear board members, I regret to inform you that I am resigning as Freeholder at Large effective immediately. It has been my privilege to serve the citizens of Atlantic County since elected in 2009. We have worked very hard as a board and met many unexpected challenges. My goal has always been to meet the expectation of the citizens of Atlantic County by continually improving the quality of life for each of our residents. It has been both a pleasure and honor to serve on the board with individuals who work diligently every day for the residents we represent. I am grateful for the opportunity to have served. Sincerely, Frank D. Formica. At this moment, I will entertain a motion to accept Frank Formica's resignation as Freeholder at Large.
Second that motion.
Roll call. Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
No.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto? Gatto?
Right.
Kern?
Yes.
And Risley.
Yes.
Okay, I will now entertain a motion to add and move resolution 439 to the top of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
The floor is open for nominations.
Madam Clerk, I'd like to nominate our Vice Chairwoman, Maureen Kern, to be our chairwoman.
And I would be honored to second that.
Are there any other nominations?
Madam Chair. Madam Clerk,
Yes.
I move that nominations be closed.
Second.
Hearing that, I'll conduct a roll call. Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
And Risley.
Yes.
Congratulations, Chairwoman Kern. The meeting is now yours.
Congratulations, Maureen.
Congratulations.
You
Congrats.
guys speak up and take it off mute if you're gonna be the chairperson now. You are still on mute, so you have to come off of mute. There you go.
Thank you, Ernest. I just want to say it is with deep gratitude and thanks to my colleagues who elected me to serve as chair of the Atlantic County Freeholder Board. I'm extremely grateful for the years of service Freeholder Famika gave to us in Atlantic County and the support he has provided to me throughout the years. I wish him and his family well in his future endeavors. I look forward to continuing to serve the people as we collectively move Atlantic County forward. Along with the rest of the Freeholder Board and supportive county administration, we are facing challenging times, and our work on behalf of the residents and visitors to Atlantic County is even more important. Together, we will continue to work hard on behalf of all of our residents, and I thank everyone for their support. Thank you again. Okay, so we are now moving on. We have we're going to have we're moving another resolution number 440.
Yes.
So may I have a motion to move the resolution up?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second, roll call.
And I'm just going to add,
Whoa.
Chairwoman Kern, that we need to add it to the agenda and move it up.
That is correct.
Okay, so we just added it to the agenda
And move it to the top of the agenda.
and
as
move it
well.
to the top.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Well, Madam, if I may, Madam Chair, what I think we should do so the public know what's going on, I think you need to read the resolution into the record, so therefore they know what resolution 440 is.
Resolution of election of vice chairperson of the Board of Chosen Freeholders through December 31, 2020.
Move.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Do we have
Yes.
any freeholder comments?
This is just to add to the agenda.
All right, I'm not paying attention to it.
Sonia, you gotta mute when you're not.
Yeah, it's kind of,
Major feedback.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 So may I have a motion for this, for nomination?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, where am I at? Yes,
I nominate Karen Fitzpatrick, Vice Chair.
I second that.
do I have any other nominations?
I'd like to make a motion for Freeholder John Risley.
Second that.
Madam Clerk?
I was instructed by the Legislative Council that if we had more than one nomination, that we do the roll call on one. If that person garnishes the requisite number, that person will be the vice chair. If the motion doesn't pass, then we go on to the second nominee. And Mr. Steedle, is that correct?
Is Roger there?
He is, and I believe that is correct. I just wanted, we spoke about this, so I just wanted to someone's checking. He's right here, so we'll just double check and hear him say yes.
Thank you.
All right,
Madam
am I
Clerk,
here?
in the meantime.
Can I be heard?
Motion.
Yes, you can be heard. Yes, yes, Mr.
Am I being
Steve.
heard? Good.
Yes.
The answer is yes. Yes, that's the way it's going to go.
Okay, I'll move.
You vote until somebody gets a majority of the votes. If that happens on the first nominee, then it's over. Because you wouldn't be able to get the same votes for the second nominee. So that's the way you do it.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
Madam Chair, that means we move on the first nomination.
Well, first, I think we have to have a motion to close nominations, correct?
Yes.
If so, I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, nominations are closed.
Okay, the first roll call will be for Freeholder Karen Fitzpatrick as vice chair. Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
No.
Dorsey,
Yes.
Days,
No.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
All due respect to Karen, no.
Risley,
No.
and Kern.
And the same, all due respect to Karen, no.
The motion fails, and I'll move to the second nominee, John Risley. And the roll call, Bennett,
All due respect to Mr. Risley, no.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
All due respect, no.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
No.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mr. Risley.
Thank you.
Congratulations, John.
Madam Chair, if I may, before we move
Yes,
on.
Freeholder.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, Freeholder.
You must have your window open in your office or something because the noise is horrible. Somebody has an open mic and it's a bad feedback.
All right, mine's still on. Who turned theirs off? So, okay.
And
There's-
Problem with Tanya's computer, yeah.
it could be the air conditioning in the room. Madam Chair, let me just take this opportunity to, first of all, congratulate you and to congratulate Freeholder Risley. But let me also, I'd be remiss if I did not thank Chairman Formica for his years of service to the residents of Atlantic County. Frank and I go beyond party lines. And the fact of the matter is that Frank has given so much to this community. He has made a personal and a family decision to step down and to move on. But we commend him for the service that he has given to the residents of Atlantic County. A lot of you probably were shocked to hear of his resignation, but some of us probably knew it wasn't too far off for obvious reasons. And we certainly want to, again, thank him. Frank will still be around in different capacities, but we wish him well. We wish his family well. I had the opportunity to talk to him on Friday along with his wife. Frank is probably 20 pounds lighter now that he hadn't have to dealing with these types of issues, because once you are an elected official, you have so much coming at you at all different angles. Just the fact that he doesn't have to worry about this hurdle anymore. We can't say enough, or I can't say enough about Frank and our friendship down through the years. As I said, we look beyond partisan, and I consider Frank a friend. We didn't always agree on all the issues, but one thing about Frank, we could agree to disagree, and it didn't have to be disagreeable. So we wish him well in his new endeavors, and I am sure we have not seen the last, let alone heard the last of Frank Formica. So if he's listening and watching, thank you for your service to the residents of Atlantic County.
Thank you, Freeholder.
Couldn't have said it any better, Freeholder. I echo those comments for sure.
Okay, do we have any other Freeholder comments at this time?
Madam Chairwoman?
Yeah.
I just want to say I would be remiss if I didn't echo Freeholder Court's comments.
Mhm.
100%.
Thank you, Freeholder. I think we'll bring him back and embarrass him a little bit more too, right?
Yes, he's earned that. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, if nobody else has any more comments at this time, let's bring us into our health from Patricia Diamond. Is she here?
Hi, good afternoon, Freeholder Chair, and congratulations. I have a briefing for September 15th, starting with the cumulative countywide positive COVID-19 cases to date are 4,166, with 2,809 recoveries. However, sadly, 248 county residents have died. In our county, there continues to be a decrease in number of deaths, but it's also being experienced in other counties. Cases of this disease continue to occur mostly in the younger population and within families. Some businesses throughout the county see one case, but a few go on to see additional cases, and we follow up with them accordingly and hold back that outbreak. As you know, the declaration of the COVID-19 pandemic reached its 6-month mark on September 11th. Public health has responded to this disease impacting the community in general, but more specifically providing assistance in combating this virus in long-term care facilities, migrant farms, businesses remaining open or opening up, and visitors to our county. Now, 6 months into this pandemic, much of our work has had to shift to schools, including Stockton University. We have been in continuous communication with our schools, including daycares, preschools, K through 12, both public and non-public. Coaches, school nurses, and superintendents call with various questions and concern. We try to address each of their issues as best we can based on the most current information received from the state. Each question is carefully discussed with internal staff before an answer is provided. If necessary, we contact the state directly before we provide an answer to the school. On a weekly basis, we send out the state COVID-19 risk level report. It's sent to school officials as soon as it's received from the State Department of Health. Our region, which consists of Cumberland and Cape May as well, for the past 3 weeks, I'm happy to report, has been rated in the low risk category. Our region's risk is based on 3 metrics that are evaluated every 7 days. They consist of the number of tests that are positive in the past 7 days, the number of positive cases of COVID per 100,000 people, and the number of people who present to our hospital's emergency room with COVID-like symptoms. How a school needs to respond to COVID-19 issues hinges on the region's risk level. The higher the risk, a more conservative response is required. Now moving on to our testing information, we continue to test at our drive-through behind the public works yard in Northfield, and we've tested over 3,000 symptomatic and asymptomatic individuals. You don't need a doctor's script to get a test, just to make an appointment online. We're glad to report that our turnaround time for our test results has greatly improved. This past week, we received all within 2.5 days. But in addition, people just remember that there's other places that a person can get tests. CVS continues to test in Brigantine and Pleasantville, Southern Jersey Family Medical Center in Hamilton and Pleasantville. Atlantic Care offers testing throughout the county and at their urgent cares. And they also offer testing at their Fairly Qualified Health Center in Atlantic City. And finally, the Health Med Urgent Care in Atlantic City offers testing as well. The travel advisory, since it went into effect in mid-July, 438 individuals were advised to quarantine. Currently, there are 30 states and territories under travel advisory. We contact those travelers each day and advise them accordingly to quarantine. We continue to have the 12 people from Rutgers that staff our community health unit, and they have been trained to perform 2 functions, both as case interviewers and contact tracers. They've become skilled at both, so if more people need to be interviewed, we can place them accordingly, as opposed to their contacts needing to be traced. Lastly, I'm happy to report that we're moving closely to announce our flu shot clinic for the 2020 season. It's going to be ever so important for everyone to get their flu shots this year, whether at our public health clinic or at a pharmacy, primarily hopefully at their doctor's office. We really encourage people to get that shot. So that's my report, and if anyone has any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Madam Chair, I got a question.
Yes, please, Freeholder.
Thank you. Pat, we just had quite a summer with people coming down here, going to the beach, boardwalk, etc. What is the hospital report? Do you get direct reports as to how they're handling it? Did they see a big influx, small influx?
We have, they receive reports, provide reports to a Southern Regional hospital at Cooper Hospital, where all hospitals report what they're seeing. And Shore Memorial and Atlantic Care were a part of that reporting. And it was interesting because as certain events happen, you would see an increase, like more cases during the time when the migrant farm population increased, less when they left, more cases when there were outbreaks in long-term care, and less when those outbreaks subsided. They would report on their personal protective equipment if they had enough, and would express when they needed more. So we're in contact with that need through that mechanism, through our Cooper Hospital contact. But they've been really faring well. They've been able to manage the cases that they have presented to them. They also utilized the Atlantic City Convention Center when that was up and running, but they really didn't need to use it that much.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
But what is being monitored, I just wanted to point out, are the COVID-like illnesses that are presenting to emergency rooms, so we can keep a pulse on that metric. And that's being monitored all over the state in each of the emergency rooms.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Pat. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Freeholder Fitzpatrick?
Yes, thank you very much, Chairwoman. Ms. Diamond, I noticed on the daily COVID reports that we're getting now transmission rate information, and I saw that the state is now at 1.08%, or that was one of the more recent reports that we received. When we voted for indoor dining, it was 0.98%. And also I saw that the transmission rate is broken down into northern, I think central and southern. And southern was concerning. I thought that I saw that say 2.84%. Is that correct? And what constitutes southern? How many counties is that?
Well, actually, it's different than the school metrics. The school is broken down into 6 different counties. I mean, 6 different regions. And for the school, the metric that I just reviewed, it's Atlantic. It is Cape May and Cumberland. Okay. But as far as that region, how it's broken down, it's actually 7. So it's Burlington, Camden, Gloucester, Cumberland, Salem, Cape May, and us. So it's a larger span. So a number of things could be causing that. Just the movement into the colleges, just the better reporting. So it's a little bit too early to tell if that's a trend or it's just a particular spike.
Labor Day weekend.
It could be, and people going back to school, people getting tested before they go to school. That was required with many of the colleges, so that could be the cause of it as well. But we just continue to monitor it on a daily basis. And again, it's reported regionally, divided into 3 by the state. But when the schools are reported, it's divided into 6 regions.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Pat. Do we have any other questions or comments? Freeholder Gatto?
Thank you, Chairwoman. Pat, just a quick question. I know we're showing on the map as lagging slightly behind on contact tracers. I think we're like 1/10 of a point shy of the 15. And as I understand it, the contact tracers kind of get funneled to us from the state.
Right.
Can you just validate that and let us know, is there anything that, could be done to get us above that benchmark that they want us at, or is it not that big of a deal? I know you kind of touched on this last meeting, but just to kind of reiterate.
Right. The contact tracers, they went through a program at Rutgers, and they were trained to work remotely. And bringing them on, it was, very difficult to train them remotely. And, any training program that you go through, it's not hands-on. You really need the experience and hands-on to be valuable. So we have a program where we bring them in for at least a week and get comfortable with them. And many of them elect to stay on site. And as far as, a span of control or a span of being able to manage well, we can work with the 12 well. Okay, some have resigned. Some went back. A couple of them went back to school. Some didn't particularly like the work. So what we did is we've trained them to be both case interviewers and contact tracers. They just come to us as contact tracers, but we move them, we pivot them into being able to interview cases. So depending on the numbers that we have, we can direct accordingly. So that has really helped. And by having the 14, although we don't meet the state metrics, by having the 12, we seem to be able to work with them better. We are able to train them. They have less questions, so there's less interruptions with our supervisory staff. In fact, 2 of them were recommending to be supervisors of contact tracers to Rutgers. But we did ask for 2 more, just in the event a couple leave.
Thank you, Pat.
Sure.
Any other comments or questions? Freeholder Days.
Yes, Madam Chairman, thank you. Thank you, Pat. First, I want to tell you just how reassuring your updates are. I've heard from multiple people who either watch the meetings live or watch them on video, who just love the fact that you're here providing the information and just reassuring the public. So thank you for that, Pat, first of all.
Thank you.
So, you know, I live in Galloway Township. I teach in Galloway. I represent Galloway on the Freeholder Board. I've heard a lot of concern. I mentioned this last meeting about Stockton University. They just publicly announced that they had 6 cases of COVID. Some of them are off campus. Some people have asked me what involvement does the Stockton have? The students are living on streets and in houses in Galloway. And what involvement does the county health department have with Stockton, ensuring that they're not communicating the COVID, you know, when they go to outdoor dining, making sure that they quarantine? How involved is Stockton, and how involved is county health in that?
We get any case of positive case is reported through our electronic system. Okay, some of the students actually are living off campus, so we would follow them up on them as we would as a resident. Okay, making sure that they quarantine, finding out who their contacts were, making sure that they were also quarantining as well. And then we communicate with the school, because we want to make sure that the school is aware and that we're clear on who needs to be contacted, who may have been exposed to this individual. Some of these students are commuters. They're coming into our county from Ocean County or Cape May County. They're not staying on the campus or apartments outside the campus. So we're in communication with those counties as well. In fact, we had received a call over the weekend from Ocean County and followed up accordingly. So it's, we're like similarly to other colleges, yeah, we do see cases, but they are not epi-linked, meaning that they are not being caused by a connection at the college. Okay, it's usually occurs off-site, and some of them actually were tested prior to coming to Stockton. So they, in fact, never actually hit the campus because many were required to test before they came.
All right.
So we are on it, and it is a challenge. I have to be honest with you, but we are keeping on top of it.
I appreciate that. My follow-up was if Stockton students are, I'm not saying any have been, but if they're difficult with contact tracers, with providing information, is the college prepared to have consequences for those students? Or, I mean, are they involved in that process as well?
We reach out to their health services. There's a Dr. Zioki that we've been dealing with, and inform him if there is an issue with a case having a difficult time revealing contacts. But so far, they have been pretty compliant with that. But the ones that are not, or anticipating of them not being, we communicate with the State Department of Health, who provides us with like certain ideas to help them communicate, to make sure that, you know, it's not going to be revealed, the person that they're mentioning as a contact. Sometimes there's a fear that the person is going to lose their job or they're going to be suspended from school. So we really work with the case to let us know who their contact is. But again, it is really based on what they report to us is how we follow up.
Thank you, Pat, and I appreciate that, because that's just a concern in the community here in Galloway and the greater area. And I have just one more question. As a teacher, this is my first day in class in 6 months with students. And I read today that Connecticut shut down a couple schools because of positive COVID cases. So several of my coworkers were coming to me and asking, we're lumped in with, well, that sounds negative, but we're with 2 other counties. Does this have set parameters as to, is there a certain mark where schools are forced to close according to the state, or is it up to each district to make that decision?
The State Department of Health put together guidelines for schools to follow with the local health departments. It's used across the state. And they come up with certain scenarios. Like if there's one case in the school, where did it occur? Was there any chance of a contact or anything? And it's followed up accordingly. There could be 2 cases in a school, and perhaps they're in different classrooms, and they're not linked to each other. So that's looked at individually, and a conversation is held with the superintendent and school nurse on the best course of action. And that may not be necessarily a reason to close the school, because there's no spread in the school. Okay, they could have been at an event with a family. They could have been at another event, but so happened to go to the same school. So it's not like a cut and dry. So it's, you take what you have and you do an assessment, and then you work on it and come up with a solution on how to best manage that.
That's great, Pat. Again, thank you for everything. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Great information. Does anybody else have any comments or questions for Pat?
No, keep up the good work. Oh, Pat, Madam Chair, if I may through to you, Pat,
Yes.
can you send me those by email, the latest numbers that you read off earlier, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks again, Pat.
Okay.
All right, we have a couple presentations. We have first the State of New Jersey Shared Services Czars, Jordan Glatt and Nicholas Platt.
Madam Chair.
Sir, I think you're muted. Mr. Platt, I think you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Good. Thank you for meeting with us tonight. Jordan and I were appointed in 2018. We've been at this, we're going on 3 years. And it was a very interesting situation because the governor was in his final debate before the election, and somebody asked him how it's going to solve New Jersey's crippling property tax crisis. And he stopped and he responded, well, I'm going to appoint guards, and they are going to be doing shared services. And I'm a Republican mayor from Harding Township, and Jordan Glatt is a Democratic mayor from Summit. And the 2 of us have been friends for over 30 years, but of course the governor had no way of knowing that. And we've been crisscrossing the state, thousands of miles on our cars, meeting with communities like yours and trying to promote what we did in our towns and collectively providing essential services for more efficiently. And
if I can stop you 1 second, we just need Jocelyn to be able to share her screen. Jocelyn Matheson. I'm sorry. Sorry, Nick.
Okay, that's good. So I'll continue to speak. So, we things like that Atlantic City has done so well is your health department. When I was mayor in Harding, we met with our local freeholders and recognized that we were providing our own nurse, our own health department, which just did not make any sense. And we had the county supply our health services, and has worked very well. We sort of know how well we're doing by how often the governor gets a request to fire us, which is more often than you'd ever imagine. We've been dealing with schools, fire, and police, and trying to do some things like with these cross-border patrols and the like. So, just as a way of background, I spent 33 years commuting to New York. I worked in corporate America. I worked for the New York Stock Exchange for many years, then in public relations, and got off the train, as I said, after 33 years of commuting, and ran and became the mayor of my town, and I'm still on the town council. So I recognize that it's getting more and more difficult for municipalities to meet their goals and bring down property taxes unless they do shared services. So enough about that. I just want to turn the floor over to my colleague, Jordan Blatt.
So thank you, Nick. A little bit about my background. As Nick mentioned, I did 2 terms as mayor of Summit, and this goes under no D goes unpunished. We did a bunch of shared services within Summit and neighboring communities and Union County. And I received a call from the governor, like Nick did, asking if we would lead this effort. We come at this at a very interesting time in the state. I mean, especially now, none of us would have ever, if we go to the next slide, Justin, if none of us would have predicted the COVID emergency and the stress that is put on communities. That has, I don't want to be glib about it, but has led to a bit of an opportunity as late as communities want to, are looking for any way to save money in their budget, and as taxpayers are concerned about rising property taxes. The state is, as we know, and towns are at a tipping point, and that was even before the COVID crisis. So right now we're kind of one way to help communities to balance their budgets going forward. And our phone has basically been ringing off the hook. This does not mean it's been easy. I mean, home rule, as I'm sure you're all aware of, is extremely entrenched within the state. It requires a lot of backbone from the governing body to be willing to give up in some cases, give up, I hate to use the word, but power, and turn it over to another community. But it's best for the town. If we can go to the next, Jocelyn. So we have found that there has been, there's several ways. Let me just grab my spot here. We're having a little technical thing in my ear here. So for the last 2 years, we've been working with DCA to come up with programs that help the counties and the communities do the studies and do the work for them to see if they're eligible for shared services and how they work. So I'm going to let Rick Riccadella, who is leading the effort at DCA, kind of walk through kind of how we're working with each of the communities that approach us for shared services. Rick?
Everybody hear me okay?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes.
Rick Riccadella, old face from Atlantic City.
Rick, you went back on mute again.
Okay. Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, super. It says down below, muted, but we'll go with it. So yes, Freeholder, Corsi, how are you? I was the state monitor in Atlantic City, and then they promoted me to take over this program, the Local Assistance Bureau, and included in it is the shared service czars and the programs that we're trying to get off the ground. A little bit of background on myself. I am a retired police chief from Essex County, and I have worked now with the DCA over 20 years on putting some of these programs together with shared services. So we've had a pretty good success rate with regard to it. So I wanted to let everybody know that I think that we can move forward on some more issues down in Atlantic County. For the next slide, I wanted to talk about some common shared service concepts that we've run across sharing facilities. And I know that Atlantic County has been involved with some shared services that we'll talk about a little bit more as we go through the slide presentation. But facility sharing is important. Capital sharing, a lot of times that has to do with buying some equipment that you can share between the county and some smaller municipalities. Key position sharing, maybe you could share a CFO or a business administrator's job between two municipalities, and of course a department manager. And I know in Union County they're using the Union County DPW supervisor to supervise a lot of other smaller towns up in Union County. And of course there's always contracted services. And we did a contracted service in Del Mar and Lake Como with the police department, where Del Mar took over the Lake Como Police Department and entered into a contracted service. More importantly, we have a contracted service up in Sussex and Morris County that the czars worked with me on, and Governor Murphy was very proud of the program, where Morris County took over Sussex County's jail, and it saved $36 million over a 25-year period, or $1.4 million. But more importantly, it saved the residents of Sussex from having to build a new jail that would have cost over $62 million. The next slide that Jocelyn has brought up is what we wanted to show and exhibit to the members of the governing body here, that since the czars were appointed by the governor in 2018, we've had 55% increase in shared service agreements. And when we were running full steam in 2019, we received 906 agreements in, and an increase of 292 or 48%. And this year we're up to 328. Even with the pandemic, we're still doing pretty well. But the point I wanted to bring out is that Governor Murphy has taken many steps to try and save taxpayers' funding, and he's felt that shared service and the establishment of shared service czars has really been helpful to our program. This map that we're showing you just gives an illustration as to how many shared services that we have in Atlantic County at the present time. In 2019, we had 20, and in 2020, we had 12. And the most frequent one being used right now is for EMS and dispatch services, solid waste collection services, and purchase and storage and loading of rock salt. And I think that the county is involved with, I think it's Atlantic City, with recycling and some garbage. Am I correct, Mr. Corsi?
That is absolutely correct. We are in service, what I believe is gold medal.
Right, correct. And then we have some other shared service recycling issues going on in Atlantic County with Millville City and Hamilton and Egg Harbor City. So as you can see, we're being very progressive down in Atlantic County, but of course there's always room for improvement. Next slide. So one of the things that I wanted to emphasize to the members and the freeholders today is the fact that the czars have been pushing the governor's office for a LEAP program that would help supplement some of the programs for shared services, and there are 3 of them: Challenge, Implementation, and the County Coordinated Fellowship, which, by the way, Atlantic County is participating in that program. The challenge grant allocates funds for compelling projects, people that are thinking about projects that are outside the box. And the grants are designed to promote innovative ideas between communities or counties or local entities. And you can get a grant for that for $150,000. And I wanted to emphasize that the governor's new budget will have these grant funds in it, and applications will be available for the challenge grants after October 1st, when the new fiscal year budget goes into effect. We also have the implementation grant. The implementation grant allows you to use funds to help cover costs associated with service implementation, one-time reimbursements. So if you ended up putting two DPWs together and you had to change signage on vehicles, or you had to come up with other programs or startup costs, things of that sort, the implementation program will help you. You can also use it for schools. Salem County is using it right now for a feasibility study on K through 12 on their school districts, where they're thinking about putting all 13 school districts into one and having one county school district, which would save about, at the minimum, 12 superintendents in the schools. So we have this funding set aside for the implementation grants, and I want to emphasize to the members that you should emphasize to your business administrator, take advantage of these grants that are going to be coming out in October. The fellowship grant, we've already complimented the county on that. They're already participating in it, but I wanted to emphasize that I think the program's going to get renewed for next year. We are going to have a 2-day orientation program for the fellowships up in Trenton, along with their immediate supervisor, so that we can give them a little best rounded background with regard to how to go about being a shared service coordinator for their county. Next slide. So just an example of some of the awards that we're giving out on behalf of the czars and our director, Melanie Walter. In 2020, we gave out a grant for Chesterfield, which dealt with a fire district, in Dennis Township for a school, Lambertville for economic development, North Wildwood was for a fire district. We spoke about Sussex County and Morris County's office, sheriff's office. Woolwich, they did a municipal court and a police department. Pinelands is doing a school district. Roosevelt's doing a school district. Atlantic is doing the fellowship. And then an interesting one we had up in Bergen, with Bergen, Hudson, and Passaic County, is they're trying to centralize a medical examiner's office. So they're doing a feasibility study to see if it would work to combine all those counties, which, as we know, are large counties, into one medical examiner's office. And then we have a group of grants for Cumberland, Gloucester, Monmouth County, Ocean, and Passaic and Union counties. What we wanted to emphasize here is that we want you to stay tuned for the next round of grants, which is going to be coming out in October of 2020. And we put on this slideshow local government services LEAP grant application and or shared services. And of course, you can always call us at 609-292-6858. Next. So what do we do when we come out? We have all kinds of items that we can cover with regard to shared services. We can conduct a study in-house. We have experts on board that can do these studies where you don't have to pay for consultants to come out and do it. We provide political support for tough decisions. We have grant funds. We have mentorships. And we publicize our successes, which we're talking about right now. But one of the things that I wanted to emphasize is that if you wanted to hire someone, instead of going out and getting a headhunter, you can call on VCA's Local Assistance Bureau, and we'll have a group of our experts come down and help with the process sending out the RFP for the soliciting for the job, looking at the resumes, and then interviewing the candidates with the members of the governing bodies. It's a new program that was instituted by our director, who was certainly thinking in the 21st century, Melanie Walter. Next slide. So the Local Assistance Bureau, that is my email address if you want to get a hold of me. We have Nick Platt. He's always open for telephone calls. And Jordan Glatt, similar. They'll take calls from everybody. Or you can contact us at sheriffservices@nj.com. And we want everybody to come out and join our programs. I think you'll find it very interesting. We're more fun one-on-one in a room. We are sending our team out, meeting with people in person as long as we can exercise social distancing and the operating of masks during any of the meetings. I'd like to open up the floor for both myself and the members of the Freeholders Board to ask any questions for the Shared Service Czars.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Freeholder.
Thank you. Thank you guys for making this presentation. Couple questions. Number one, are any of the grants replacing the energy receipt dollars that municipalities are eligible to get by implementing shared services as indicated on the best practice scorecard that they have to fill out every year to get the energy receipts?
Is that directed at myself, the czars?
Whoever can answer it.
Okay, so let me just make sure that I understand the question. You wanted to know if the grants are associated with the best practices on our BCA website?
Well, when I was in municipal government, there was a best practice scorecard that was given out by the state that you were required to meet a certain number of points in order to have the ability to basically get your state aid, which was filed under energy receipts. And part of that best practice survey was shared services. So I'm just making sure that that is not going away for municipalities and that the grants are an additional set of funding that they can seek, and that energy receipt dollars are not at risk.
Okay, so this year we are enhancing the best practices with regard to the shared services. In fact, Jocelyn, who is doing the PowerPoint presentation, assisted local government services in providing some enhanced items for the best practices, and they will be in the new best practices program. So we have added more points for the best practices regarding shared services. But to answer your question about the grants are separate, but we're still asking the questions. It has not been eliminated from the best practices.
Okay, great. Thank you. And speaking of best practices, is your group doing any kind of research on shared services that have been put in place that have worked well and disseminating that information across counties and municipalities? And I cite one example that was on your slide. Hamilton Township implemented shared dispatch with Egg Harbor City. I know because I was on council at that time, and I think it's interesting that you said you're being very aggressive in Atlantic County when we actually did it, but I think of it as a best practice, and I'm just wondering if you all are looking at things that are already implemented, working with the towns to find out what worked, what didn't when they implemented it, and then helping disseminate that information down to the counties and municipalities.
Well, I can tell you, Amy, that I have been to down to Hamilton in Atlantic County, and I visited their police dispatch area where they are dispatching for Egg Harbor City. Mm-hmm. And I was very impressed with the program and how they're doing their shared services. In fact, a kudo to the chief in Hamilton, because they set up a new program that they can look into the schools and lock the doors in the schools. So they're very forthcoming and definitely living in the 21st century. And the great thing about our program is, as we travel around the state, as the czars will tell you, we see programs that are working, some programs that aren't working, but the ones that we do see that are working, we bring that to other municipalities and we tell them, you know, I was in another municipality, I think it was in Robbinsville and Hightstown last week, and I was in their dispatch room because they're thinking about going into a shared service for their dispatch, municipal court, and for their police information technology. And I was telling them about the police information technology that they have for the schools down in Hamilton, and they thought it was a great idea. And I don't have to emphasize enough to everyone today.
So where can municipalities and counties go to get, you know, your findings? Is there a website or something?
Well, we have all our shared services are on file with our office. If you called into our office and said, you know, I want to know if you have a shared service on sharing a tax collector or a business administrator or a tow lot or DPW, we could give you a sample one. In fact, we're putting together right now, again, with our leadership with Melanie Walters as a director, the template for a handbook for shared services. And that'll be available to the residents and the taxpayers and the governing bodies where they can look at practical solutions and examples on how to do certain kinds of shared services, the questions that you need, and the model resolutions. So we're trying to make it very, very easy for everybody to follow up with shared services.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other freeholder comments?
Madam Chair, if I may.
Freeholder?
I will say, Rick, we certainly, as he indicated, service in Atlantic City, and you know, when he talked in terms of shared services, we, as I said, gold medal is probably one of the best investments at this time that the city of Atlantic City has engaged in. It took a lot of negotiation back and forth. Actually, we just renewed their contract for another couple of years. And certainly Rick was involved in the negotiations of that shared services. And so some things will be going in that direction, shared services, but just wanted to, you know, I know Rick, I know his work ethics, and I know the stuff that he brings to the table. Certainly a lot of it has been good for Atlantic City. I do not hold it against him, Madam Chair. He was a former police chief in another municipality, but I don't know if Rick realizes that Chief Henry White has about 2 more weeks, and he'll be a retired police chief, and maybe we can bring him up to DCA with you.
Thank you, freeholder. Do we have any other freeholder comments or questions?
Yeah, Madam Chairwoman?
Yeah, freeholder?
Yeah, I guess it's, if Jerry's the meeting here, I know years ago, the county had a shared services committee with Assemblyman Tom Foley and longtime Mayor McGarry from Egg Harbor City. So, I mean, we've been looking at this for years. I was just wondering if we could kind of share this with what the state's put together and kind of come up with some numbers to make some of these ideas work. Atlantic County has done this, Jerry, for their, 18 years ago, possibly. So we have a list of possible services. A lot of them have come to fruition. There's more of a push to this, and if it helps all the taxpayers, obviously it's the right idea. But some work that we did on the county level and in conjunction with the state. Are you there, Jerry?
Yeah. Can you hear? Can you? Well, we have a number of shared services already. I mean, I'll share them with the board, but and we have some with other counties as well. As you know, probably one of the more recent shared services that the board voted on was we accepted the women from Burlington County Jail, and they're housed at the Atlantic County Jail, and we have in the area of youth detention, we have Cape May, Cumberland, and Salem. We take their youth, and we provide, you know, the facility at Harbor Fields. I can't tell you how many we have. I mean, I looked at the list that they gave us. We're probably every single municipality on the island we have an agreement with for snow removal and cleaning our roads. That includes, Longport all the way through to Brigantine. I would probably say we have somewhere in the neighborhood of between 30 and 40 different agreements. We have, at least 3 or 4 different agreements with ACUA. We probably, as you all know, the ACIA, the Improvement Authority, handles and administers the CDBG funding for the county. And as part of that funding, the county separates out approximately $70,000 for all ADA requirements that we have to meet at libraries and other facilities. And the Improvement Authority actually does all the construction for us. So we're well into a large number of services. I see Freeholder Corsi just came on. We provide services in Atlantic City that they provided for many, many years. We're providing those services for senior citizens as well as home delivered meals, transportation, and outreach. As you know, Pat Diamond is the public health officer outside of Atlantic City. Within the last, 4 years, Patty is now responsible for community health as well. That's all shared services. And we did get the grant. I spoke with Mrs. Mathiasen. Jocelyn and I had a conversation, and we got one of the grants. You voted on it. It was $50,000. We've been discussing with the executive, about getting somebody on board to then proceed. So there's a couple of issues that we have that we're exploring that I'm assuming, if the person's on board, they will become involved. So is that what you're looking for, Freeholder?
Brett, you're on mute.
Yes,
Well,
Jerry.
If John is
No,
not
I
there, I think that, is that him talking?
Yeah, I got it. Hold on. So thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that. I guess my point is that we've been discussing this for a long time. So if there were things that were under discussion previously, if this commission can help us put into fruition to see a savings for our residents in every municipality, I think we need to kind of explore that further. Was one. And, I appreciate the time for this, but I think we need to also do what's best for Atlantic County and for each municipality. So I want to proceed with all due caution moving forward. I mean, it sounds great. My point, though, and then not to disparage anyone and their time involved, because I definitely think there are some benefits that we all can see. But we've been exploring this, so I think we need to move with all due caution. Look at the list. We've had this committee, like I said, with Assemblyman Foley and Mayor McGeary. Let's go back. Let's revisit that, see what they can do for us, and then make sure it works best for Atlantic County and the taxpayers and residents of Atlantic County. That's all I'm saying. But Jerry, thank you. You highlighted a lot of the positive points that we've accomplished over the last several years. So thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do I have any other Freeholder comments? Oh, you're on mute, Mr. Corsi. Freeholder Corsi. Thank you.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say, Madam Chair, that Jerry's absolutely right. Some of those shared services that the city of Atlantic City wind up going over to the county has been certainly a benefit on some parts, whether with WIC, Meals on Wheels, senior services, et cetera. And even though the city of Atlantic City has now brought back its Department of Health and Human Services, some of those services we will not be re-implementing in the city of Atlantic City. We're heading in another direction with it. But Jerry makes a good point. Up and down the county, we have done shared service with other municipalities. And Rick and them, I thought his presentation was right on, and there's something we take a look at. But we don't want to hold up the entire meeting talking about shared services when we have another presenter. And we have been an hour, and we haven't got halfway through the agenda yet.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do we have any further Freeholder comments or questions? Okay, thank you, gentlemen. We greatly appreciate all the good information you brought to us this evening. evening. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And right now, we're gonna get an update on the 2021 school year for Atlantic Cape Community College by Dr. Baragaba.
Well, good evening. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here today to update you on Atlantic Cape Community College and our plans to move forward during these challenging times. Before I get started, I wanted to thank you for your continued and unwavering support for Atlantic Cape, including sustaining the county's appropriation to us during the budget process, Chapter 12 funding support for our many needed projects, and the partnership of the Atlantic County Police Training Facility. Your support of Atlantic Cape was reaffirmed just 6 months ago during the Board of School Estimate meeting. It is hard to believe that when we met in March by phone, it was the start of the pandemic. COVID-19 has changed our lives and the lives of those we support. In addition, like you, we have no idea when we will get back to normal. The major issue faced by the college, like everyone else, was the onset and impact of COVID-19. In March, in response to Governor Murphy's executive order, all of our classes quickly moved to an online format so that there were no students on campus. Only essential employees came to campus and the rest of us worked remotely. During that time, we were very successful in maintaining academic and business continuity to complete the spring semester. However, the virus is still out there as the world awaits a vaccine, so we continue to be as cautious as possible. We were able to get students over the finish line. In June, we held our first successful virtual graduation online with 750 graduates. The online ceremony was viewed by over 6,000 people on YouTube and on our website. With regard to reopening, as you may know, we had a very early meeting with the Atlantic County Board of Health to ensure ongoing communication so that we could be kept up to date on any necessary actions that needed to be taken. To date, there have been no reported cases of COVID-19 here at Atlantic Cape Community College. The fall semester opened on August 31st. The college submitted a restart plan to the Office of the Secretary of Higher Education, and some of the items in the plan included that we informed the state that most of our courses were being offered either online, remotely, or in a hybrid format, with only hands-on courses such as nursing, aviation, and culinary labs being held on campus. The goal is to keep the population density on our campus as low as possible. Physical safety measures have been implemented, including the installation of plexiglass, signage about our mask requirement, and social distancing on all of our campuses. Employees have been working remotely since March and began to return to campus in a phased-in process in early August. Employees completed a return to campus orientation that offered an overview of the new processes and best practices for safety. Currently, staff are being split between working remotely and working on campus in order to allow for a low population density on campus. Before entering campus, employees, students, and visitors are required to self-monitor by filling out a health assessment form. Our website is evolving to meet students' needs, and in fact, our entire restart plan is on our homepage. We have instituted a laptop loaner program available to students who don't have technology, and with the addition of home internet service that's available through Verizon. This will ensure that students who do not have a computer or internet at home will have the technology they need to succeed this semester. And this is being funded through the CARES Act. I should also say that the COVID situation has had an impact on our enrollment. Over the past few semesters, we had successfully started to turn the corner on our enrollment trend. However, when COVID-19 hit, it did have an impact on our enrollment. And I should say that the declining enrollment in higher education is not only a challenge for us, but is hitting most colleges across the country and certainly here in our area. As you know, enrollment decline has a consequential impact on our budget. Because of COVID-19, our enrollment has declined, and in response, we've had to take some mitigation measures by laying off some people and also not filling open positions. So therefore, I continue to do everything that we can to keep our staff and our faculty on board with the programs that we have available. Now, as you know, the pandemic had a devastating impact on Atlantic County due to the historic loss of state revenues. In fact, Atlantic County has been most heavily hit economically in the entire state, with a staggering rate of unemployment, which we all know. The impact has not left the college unaffected. Many of those unemployed are not just a statistic, but they are our current and future students who are grappling with major life issues and thus remain undecided and unsure about going to college, which has manifested itself in a slight drop in our enrollment and our budget shortfall. Fortunately, we have received funding through the CARES Act to cover COVID-related expenses and expenses related to going online. However, there is a misconception that the millions of dollars that we received will cover our operating expenses, but they do not. Funding from the Federal CARES Act has helped the colleges to meet the additional costs specifically associated with COVID-19. However, these funds are very restrictive and do not make up for the loss of state operating aid. The CARES Act has allowed us to award up to $1.9 million to students who have had to adjust and transition to online. To date, we have awarded $1.4 million to cover over 1,400 students, and another round of awards is in process right now. With these funds, we are able to make improvements to our IT infrastructure. We are able to provide loaner laptops to students and improve technology for our staff who are working remotely. Keep in mind that we have been doing online learning since 1998, so we already had, we were already heavily invested in improving our online instruction. We received grants to cover new expenses, such as $30,000 for plexiglass for our workstations, as well as new expenses such as additional hand sanitizers, masks, housekeeping, disinfecting, and so on. The governor announced a proposed state budget on August 25th that left the community colleges underfunded by 31%. We are looking to cover the state shortfall of nearly $1 million, even with all the substantial cuts that we have made. The community college sector has embarked on an aggressive advocacy campaign to have our funding restored to the pre-COVID level by the state. And we will know in a few weeks when the final budget is released on September 30th how we have landed. Another important impact of the state revenue shortfall on the college has been the suspension of Chapter 12 funding for capital projects. Again, I want to thank you for your support over the years for Atlantic Cape Community College through your bonding of our projects under Chapter 12. Over the past 10 years, more than $35 million in capital projects have been bonded by the county on our behalf through Chapter 12 and the GO Bond. As you know, unlike public four-year institutions, community colleges are unable to borrow funds for expansion or capital needs, so we must work effectively and within our budget. And certainly we appreciate all that's happened and your approval of the bonds through Chapter 12. Over the years, we've been able to construct our STEM building, a student services center, and also we've done improvements on our roofing, resurfacing of our parking lots, and most recently, our School of Nursing labs and our classrooms have been renovated. So we are very, very grateful for all the support that we've received through Chapter 12. However, as I've mentioned, that due to the situation with the budget, all Chapter 12 projects have been put on hold for the moment. So in the meantime, during these uncertain times, we're seeking the county's continued support of the college. You have demonstrated your support to us over the years, and we are anticipating that you will continue that support. Atlantic Cape has a very important role to play in our county's restart and recovery from this public health pandemic. We can do this in several ways: by building a skilled workforce that can adapt to the changing economy, assisting the thousands of residents who have lost their jobs, reducing the cost of higher education for parents and students through the Community College Opportunity Grant Program, providing adults the opportunity to obtain new skills and careers, and by building a strong industry-driven education and training pathways that will be a foundation of the state's economy for years to come. Our commitment to you and our constituents will be continued to support our students, our businesses, and our community. As we move forward, we want to live up to that pledge, and the work that we have been doing for years will continue. As you may know, we are working very closely with ACA and other partners on the development of an aviation maintenance academy at the Atlantic City Airport that will train workers on the repair and overhaul of airplanes. These good-paying, high-wage jobs that we will be training students to do will go a long way in helping to diversify our economy. Most recently, we have been at the table regarding discussions for future planned education and training efforts relevant to the offshore wind industry that's emerging. I'm pleased to also say that the college is involved through my participation not only on the ACA, but on Governor Murphy's Atlantic City Restart and Recovery Group, and also on the Atlantic City Executive Council. We are committed to New Jersey's goal of raising the percentage of New Jersey residents who have attained an industry value credential or degree from 50% to 65% by the year 2025. I would also like to thank you for your support of the state's Community College Opportunity Grant, the CCOG program, which provides free tuition for students with incomes of $65,000 and below. It also provides a training grant, a planning grant to develop implementation and support services for students. I should also say that even with COVID, we've had the highest number of dual credit and concurrent enrollment students with our local high schools. In fact, you probably know that the first cohort of Atlantic County VOTEC graduates studying aviation recently graduated from both Atlantic Cape Community College and ACIT for the first time. We continue to bridge the gap of college skills for students while in high school, and we have made enrollment easier for high school students to enroll by utilizing more than the SAT or placement test scores. We are now using multiple measures, which allows us to look at the whole student, including their class rank, their high school grades, and so forth. And we are making headway in this area and offering more dual credit programs while students are still in high school so they can get a jump on a college degree. In the past year, we have replicated our program of dual early college agreements. And this year, I signed 4 agreements with Atlantic County high schools. That included the Charter Tech High School, the Greater Egg Harbor Regional High School District, Atlantic City High School, and Egg Harbor Township High School. We would like your assistance to continue to help us with promoting these programs and to letting people know that we do have these early start programs for students. We are continuing to work with companies to provide incumbent and potential worker training. And as more businesses come into the area and as we continue to move in the area of recovery and restart, we are here to assist with employer training. So some of the things that you can assist us with is transportation, because especially for our students in the Buena and Hamilton area, bus service is not always easy for students to get to us, and we would appreciate any assistance that we can have in that area. Also, too, as we continue to promote our work here as a community college, any information or anything that we can do to encourage students to take a 2+2 approach, educational approach, starting with us at the community college, way to save money, and then transferring to a 4-year college. And as you are well aware, we have many transfer agreements with our community colleges, with our senior colleges. We have a relationship with Stockton. Rutgers University is right here on our campus in Mays Landing, Farley Dickinson, and many others as well. We'd like to stay in touch with the county and keep up to date as to what's happening with the college. And we are always open to improving our services and what we offer to our community. So we ask that if you are hearing things about the college, whether they be good things, whether they be issues that we need to address, please feel free to contact me. My email address is president@atlantic.edu, and we are open to answering any questions. In closing, let me say, we cannot continue our mission without your full support, and we appreciate all the support you have given us over the years. And also, I want to thank you for the minutes you've been able to give us to update you on what's been happening at the college, and we will continue to keep you informed of our progress. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Gaba.
Questions
Do any freeholders have any questions?
Madam Clerk, yes, I got a
Yes.
question. Thank you. Regarding the declining enrollment, can you give me some figures, please, on that, or percentages?
As of today, we're down 10%. However, we are still continuing to register because we have classes we have a session that starts on September 21st, and we have a session that starts on October the 6th. So students are still registering. So we hope to close that gap.
Well, thank you. I'm a big supporter of the college. My son goes there, and I talk about the college every chance I get.
Oh, I appreciate that.
To tell people the tremendous savings that can be had, by starting your college experience at our community college.
Right.
So thank you.
Yes, and also too, one of the things that I did mention, I wanted to highlight that people are sort of stuck and frozen right now with COVID. They don't know, like I said, many of the people who are unemployed in our county are potential students. So they're looking for a job. They're trying to figure out what to do with their kids in school. There are a lot of uncertainties, but one of the things that's very, very good for us is that with the CARES Act money, there are grants available to students. If they've had to transition, they need money with childcare, they need money with transportation, anything related to coming to school during this time, if they were impacted, they can get a grant from the CARES Act. So that's a big financial support to students. And we've gotten that word out through press releases, and we'll continue to get that word out.
Thank you.
Chairwoman.
Freeholder.
Just to build on Freeholder Risley's question, Dr. Gaba, is the reduced enrollment in any way related to a reduction in staff, like having professors available to teach?
No, I don't think so. Okay, we're still doing that, and we have a full. We have a core of people, and we're doing the work. I think a lot of it has to do with what we are caught up in the whirlwind of what's happening in the county right now. People are very uncertain about life. They have sick people to take care of. They don't know where they're going to get a job from. Also, we have a decline in the population from 18 to 20, that traditional college age population. They're declining. And that's a fact of life everywhere. Yeah, we've been able to function, and we're going to continue to do that in spite of the challenges that we have before us.
Thank you, Ms. Chairwoman.
Yep, Freeholder Jace.
Dr. Gaba, thank you for the detailed update on things. So I heard from a friend whose daughter was attending Rutgers University, and it's kind of connected to Freeholder Gatto's question. She was told that Rutgers would not be accepting any transfer credits from community colleges because of COVID. They wanted to keep their money. They wanted to make sure that students were enrolled at the state colleges, at the four-year colleges, because the concern was that they would want to stay home, closer to their family, for fear of COVID. Can you confirm this? Is this true? And is this?
I haven't. This is the first I'm hearing. This is first I'm bringing this to my attention. The first I'm hearing about this.
Okay.
I'll look into it, but
I wasn't sure if you heard this.
No, I had not heard that. That they were not accepting transfer credits from community colleges.
Right. There's some community colleges that stopped the acceptance of transfer credits because they wanted to make sure that they had their tuition, and they were afraid that they would lose revenue because students choose to stay closer to home because of COVID.
Okay. I hadn't heard that yet, but I know that the four-year colleges have just as we have been impacted by the budget, the four-year colleges have been, by COVID, the four-year colleges have been impacted because they've lost a lot of revenue in residence halls, lots of money. That's their big issue.
Right.
But I don't have the problem with residence halls.
Correct, but that was the concern is that students weren't going to the community colleges because their credits wouldn't be able to transfer over, so they're just taking the semester off.
I hadn't heard that.
Okay. So what is your opinion about how we can, confirm, deny, or check that to see if there's any way we can reassure students or residents that they will receive their credits at their colleges if they took a class at ACCC? Is there a way?
First of all, the New Jersey Council of County Colleges is an organization of all the presidents. We're going to be meeting soon, and I'll bring this on the table if they've heard that. And certainly also we will get the word out as well. Most recently, I did an op-ed in the Press of Atlantic City about coming to college, and I plan to do more op-eds, getting our word out there in the press. And as we address that question, I will put that in my writings.
It's fantastic. I appreciate that. Thank you again so much.
And I hope you've seen the article I wrote in the press of Atlantic City about coming to Atlantic City.
I appreciate everything you've done to support our community college. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do we have any other Freeholder questions or comments?
Chairman, if I may.
Freeholder.
Yeah, I just want to again thank and congratulate and wish Dr. Gaba continued success at Atlantic Cape Community College as she continue to do an outstanding job to represent this county as our president of the college. Between Atlantic Cape Community College and ACIT, Dr. Gunther has done an outstanding job of keeping the board of freeholders up to date, where they're at with the college and what we're doing with students in this epidemic at this particular time. This information is certainly very helpful for all of us. So when we do get comments and concerns from our constituents, we'll have something to feed back to them, because the president of the college and the superintendent of ACIT has been keeping us abreast of what's happening on the campuses, in the schools. As you know, Atlantic County uses the ACCC as police academy location as well. They're very involved in the community. And I wanted to thank Dr. Gaba again for what she's doing and what she continues to do on behalf of all of us, because if the college does well, it makes the county look well, because we have been a real player in the college, not just in Mays Landing, but in Atlantic City. It's three campuses, but we are responsible for the Atlantic City and the Mays Landing campus. So, Dr. Gaba, keep up the good work. And as
thank you.
Do not be afraid to come back to ask the administration and the Board of Freeholders for additional funds.
Well, I was doing that very subtly.
I'm going to put Jerry and the rest of them on the spot. We can find money for a whole lot of things. We want to make sure that our college is tip top, and under your leadership, we're very proud of it.
Because I think I probably mentioned that when the governor gave his preliminary report last week on the budget, for us, he cut the community colleges have been cut by 31%. For us, it translates into $1.5 million in state support that we don't have yet. But between now and September 30th, when the final thing is gone by the legislature, I mentioned that the community college presidents have been on a very aggressive advocacy campaign. We have been speaking to our legislators. We've been speaking to everybody about putting in a voice for us to help that funding be restored. And that's what we're looking forward to happening, because we realize that we're going to play a very important role in recovery and going forward. And after the governor gives his message on September 30th, I'll have a clear idea of where we stand in terms of our funding picture, and I will be talking to you again.
Dr. Gaba, if there's anything we can do from a resolution standpoint in support of the group that you just mentioned's efforts in advocating for that funding, please send that over.
Okay, let me just mention that I serve on the executive committee of the New Jersey Council of County Colleges. It's all the presidents and trustees. We have what's called a legislative action campaign. It's a website. I'm going to forward it to you.
Perfect.
And the script of what the letter that we want to send to our legislators is already there. It's pre-filled. The only thing you got to do is put your name, your address, and click send. If as many people can send that, that will help us, and I will make sure that you will get that. And we need it within the next couple of days. But it's really very, very simple because the text is already there.
Awesome.
So I appreciate that legislative action.
Thank you, Dr. Gaba.
Look at that.
And Freeholder Corsi, great comments. You know, we appreciate everything that you do, Dr. Gaba. Do we have any other Freeholder comments? Thought I heard somebody. Okay, thank you again. We appreciate it. We look forward to that link.
Yes, we're going to get it. It's very easy. It takes 2 minutes. So please do it. Do it between today and tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Gaba. We appreciate your time.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. I'm going to backtrack just for a moment here because we need to adopt the minutes from the August 18th, 20. So I need a motion to adopt those.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, and resolutions, I need a motion to move resolution number 435 up. 435 is gentlemen that are here, governing body certification of the annual audit.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, resolution number 435.
Governing body certification of the annual audit.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Motion passed.
Madam Chair?
Freeholder?
Yeah, I just want to know, what was the reason to bring that to the top of the agenda?
The gentlemen are here to speak about it.
Yeah, okay, and it should have been when you did the agenda, it should have been at the top then, opposed to being near the end of the agenda, but I just wanted to raise that point. I'm good.
Thank you.
I see Risley getting all red at the face. I figured he'll get over it. He's a number guy.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
can you hear this? This is your solicitor.
yes, I can.
Would you please conduct roll calls with the votes from this portion on dealing with the resolutions?
Yes, I intended to. I just felt that those could be, all in favor. Just bring them up.
Good.
But I intend to. Thank you very much. Okay. We have the gentleman here.
Chairwoman Kern, this is Bonnie Lindahl, the treasurer. I just wanted to introduce Mike Garcia. Mike is with Ford Scott LLC. He works also with Leon Costello. And as you're aware, yesterday morning and in the afternoon, Mr. Garcia and Mr. Costello did presentations to the subcommittee for the audit and went into the audit in quite some detail. Today, he's here just to do a brief presentation, a public presentation on the audit for the freeholders and for the public. So thank you. I appreciate that you allowed the resolution to be moved up so Mr. Garcia can speak.
Thank you, Bonnie.
And then maybe leave.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Once again, I am Mike Garcia from Ford Scott & Associates, here to present the results of the 2019 audit. Just as a brief reminder, when it comes to conducting the audit, we go through the various financial areas of the county's financial statements to determine whether or not the county is following the rules and regulations that the state imposes on county governments, and also that you're using sound accounting practices. So we're looking at your cash accounts, your revenues, expenditures, payroll, debt service payments, your fixed asset accounting, your grants that you receive. Additionally, we review the transactions in your constitutional offices to make sure that they are in compliance. When we find a mistake or an error or an exception, we are required to report a finding and recommendation for corrective action. I am happy to present this audit today that is a clean audit without any findings or recommendations. A credit to Bonnie and her entire staff in being able to year after year produce a clean audit without findings or recommendations. As far as the financial statement numbers go, like Bonnie said, we have gone over quite in detail the numbers yesterday, but I would like to give for the public a summary synopsis of the financial position of the county, which is at December 31st, 2019, very strong. The county did increase its surplus by about $265,000. We started the year with $18,347,000 in our surplus account, and we ended with $18,612,000. So about a $265,000 increase in the fund balance surplus account. That comes predominantly from the fact that our revenues did increase. our net revenues, net of grants, increased by about 4.4 million, which is about 2% of our total revenue budget. Additionally, some of our expenditures also did increase about $1.8 million. Our expenditures, net of grants, increased $1.8 million, which is just about 0.9%. So a slight increase in the spending. The major areas where there were increases were salaries and wages increased by about $1.3 million, which is less than 2%. That's about 1.7% in salaries and wages increases. And capital spending increased by about $2.5 million. As the freeholders will remember, the reason for the increase in capital spending in 2019 is that the county opted to fully fund in cash a major improvement ordinance as opposed to issuing debt. So you paid cash rather than borrowed money for a major improvement that was done in 2019. And those are the major areas of significant change. And just to, since we did mention debt briefly, the fact that the county did not authorize debt for that one particular ordinance, I will remind everyone that the county, like all counties in the state, are subject to a maximum debt amount that is a percentage of the county's equalized property values. In the case of Atlantic County, the maximum debt that the county would be allowed to incur, 2% of the equalized values, is about $631 million. The county only has net debt of $148 million, which is just about a half of 1%. So you're well below the maximum debt limit. That's about $483 million below that maximum debt limit. Additionally, we talked about the increase in fund balance, and it's important to remember that that fund balance that you have, the $18.6 million, a portion of it was used to balance the 2020 budget. In this case, it's $9.3 million, which is less than 50%, which is the county's policy to not over-rely on the use of surplus to balance any one year's budget. And so you've used less than 50%. That leaves you about $9.3 million in the fund balance surplus account. As a reminder, the two major economic indicators that rating agencies look at are your debt management and your fund balance management. And in both cases, the county is very strong in those areas. Once again, to recap, no findings or recommendations, well within the debt limit and well-managed surplus fund balance account. Those are the major items that I wanted to highlight for the public today. If there are any comments or questions that you have for me, I would be happy to answer.
Chairwoman, I think we would just want to echo some of the sentiments we raised up in the Budget and Administration Committee yesterday of not only the work that Fort Scott has done, but also the work that our team has done in going through the audit, still with the highest level of quality and detail, but also, during a very tough time of pandemic and having to do a lot of it remote. Bonnie mentioned that she was even running memory sticks with content on it to people's homes and things like that. So just really went above and beyond to continue, to make sure we have a seamless audit process. And then I think for us to come out again with no findings just speaks to the work that our staff does on an everyday basis. So just want to say thank you to all parties involved there for all of your hard work.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do we have any other Freeholder comments or questions? Thank you, sir. We appreciate you being here this evening.
Thank you all. Good night.
Okay.
Bonnie, I have a whole lot of questions, but I'm not going to beat you up today.
Let me know when you want to talk, Freeholder Percy.
I'm good. You did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. I believe we need to vote on that one right now. So do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call?
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes. Okay, that brings us away. Maybe we have another presentation tonight, Mr. Corsi. What do you think? Just joking.
Wait, Madam Chair, don't be comfortable, Madam Chair. What did you just say?
I said, Freeholder Corsi, do we have any other presentations this evening?
Well, I don't think you have any listed for right now. I might bring one up on the back end.
Okay, well, that brings us into grants. So we have resolution number 406.
Funds Exchange Program Cost Reimbursement Agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for funding from the fiscal year 19 Transportation Trust Fund for construction costs associated with the construction, material testing, and inspection costs associated with 3rd Street in the town of Hamilton, $1,120,000.
Move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do you have any freeholder comments?
And that explains, Madam Chair, why Patino can be so quiet the whole entire meeting for 1 hour and 41 minutes. He hadn't said anything because he knew he had something coming up for Hamilton.
Actually, the project got canceled.
Do we have any other freeholder comments? I think we're having a problem with our audio, so if anybody's not speaking, if they can make sure they're on mute. So do we have any other comments from the freeholders? Any comments from the public? No.
No
Okay,
comments.
roll call.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Hamilton, yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Number 407.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety, Division of Criminal Justice, Office of Victim Witness Advocacy for the Victims of Crime Act program, funded amount $731,593, county in-kind match $362,513.
Move. Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Any comments from the public?
No comments.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if there's any questions, Mr. DeShields, is here from the prosecutor's office. I just wanted you to know that I asked Mr. DeShields if if you have any questions, he's here. If not, then you're fine.
You know, Jerry,
Thank
sometimes
you, Jerry.
some things is best not talked about. You better go get the vote while you got it.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. And no comments from the public. Roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes, he almost got talked to a no vote, but yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes, because many of these items were already scrutinized in our budget meeting yesterday. So.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 408.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Health and Senior Services for the tanning registration and inspection project, amount not to exceed $3,000.
Motion.
We have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the freeholders? Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. And may I have a motion to combine and adopt 410 and 411?
We need to do 409 first, Chairwoman.
Sorry. See, I'm
No
just
worries.
trying to move this along.
Exactly.
Number 409.
Amending Resolution Number 585, adopted October 22nd, 2019, a grant agreement with the New Jersey Department of State, Office of the Secretary of State for the 2020 Complete Count Commission Program to extend the term date only, no additional costs.
Motion, second.
Any comments from the freeholders? Do you have any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes. Okay, now chapter 159, if I have a motion to combine and adopt 410 and 411.
Chairwoman, can we combine and adopt 410 to 415?
Our attorney has asked me to do them separately.
Okay, motion for 410 and 411.
You decouple these from the rest of the chapter 1, because this is cancellation of the prior roll count, and then this immediately follows 411. Substitutes in the correct amount, so they should be decoupled. They can be combined and passed as one vote, but you should not couple them up with the other chapter 159s.
My motion for 410 and 11 stands.
Second.
Second.
A motion and a second. Do I have any comments from the freeholders? Any comments from the public? Roll call.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. And now may I have a motion to combine about 412 to 415?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Do we have any comments from the freeholders? Great. Okay, roll call.
And no comments from the public.
Okay, I thought I saw you shake your head. Okay, roll call.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Professional services contract 416.
Amended professional services agreement with various vendors under the 2019-2020 title services pool to extend the term date only, no additional costs.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public?
No comment.
Okay, roll call.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes again.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Competitive contracts 417.
Renewal competitive contracts with the Atlantic County Special Services School District and the Boys and Girls Club of Atlantic City for program year 2020 Innovation and Opportunity Act in-school youth program. Amount not to exceed $445,529.
Move.
Motion. Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public?
No comment.
Okay, roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 18.
Renewal competitive contract with Stockton University and Ideal Institute of Technology for a Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act out-of-school youth program amount not to exceed $978,022.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Any comments from the public?
No comments.
Okay, roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 419?
Resolution authorizing competitive contracting for the provision of food service at the Atlantic County Justice Facility pursuant to NJSA 48:11-4.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments?
No public comments. No
No.
public comments.
Roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Now we're into bid contracts, 420.
Bid contract with Creamo Land Dairies Limited Liability Corporation to furnish and deliver milk and dairy products to members of the members of the Atlantic County Cooperative, amount not to exceed $82,246.89.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public?
No comments.
Okay, roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 421.
Bid contract with various vendors to furnish and deliver bread and bakery products to members of the Atlantic County Cooperative, amount not to exceed $88,006.87.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public?
No comments.
Okay, roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 422.
Bid contract with South State Incorporated for Phase 2 roadway improvements in Central Avenue, County Route 627 in the Borough of Buna, amount not to exceed $835,838.94.
So moved. Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public?
No comments.
Okay, roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 423.
Bid contract with various vendors to furnish and deliver kitchen and catering supplies to members of the Atlantic County Cooperative, amount not to exceed $79,994.39.
Move.
Second.
Move.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public?
No comments.
Okay, roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 424.
Bid contract with Atlas Elevator Incorporated to provide elevator maintenance and repair to various county buildings, amount not to exceed $226,040 for a 2-year period.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public? Roll call. Yeah, roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley, and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 425.
Bid contract with Signal Control Products Incorporated to provide video imaging detection units to Atlantic County on an as-needed basis, amount not to exceed $150,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public?
No comments.
A roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Now we're to miscellaneous. We have 426.
A mandatory alternate method contract with Dominion Voting Systems for the provision of election programming, net increase $4,103.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public?
No comments.
Okay, roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 7.
Alternate method contract with Dominion Voting Systems to purchase software licensing and technical support for election software, amount not to exceed $85,969.83.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any freeholder comments?
Comment. I just want to explain that number 426 was for 2019 and number 427 is for 2020. We discussed this in the budget meeting.
Okay, thank you, freeholder.
You're welcome.
Any other freeholder comments? Comments from the public?
No comments.
Okay, roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 428.
Open Space Financial Assistance Agreement with the City of Linwood pursuant to the County Municipal Open Space Partnership Program for the acquisition of Block 12, Lots 2 and 20, amount not to exceed $226,000.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion made second. Any freeholder comments? Any comments from the public?
No comments.
Okay, roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
I think we lost her. Oh, no.
okay,
back.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries.
Madam Chair, may I make a suggestion?
Yes,
From
freeholder.
now on going forward, we all had a 10th freeholder and waiting. When a member drops off, we're gonna allow that to vote.
Motion carries. We're at 429.
Yes. Oh, acceptance of deeds, easements from various grantors in accordance with Atlantic County planning standards for a property located at 1000 Central Avenue in the town of Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Motion.
So moved.
Motion is made second. Any freeholder comments?
Not on Hamilton.
Comments from the public?
No comments.
Okay, roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino, Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto. Risley
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 430.
License agreement with the City of Pleasantville and the County of Atlantic concerning streetscape improvements within the right-of-way of Main Street, County Route 585, between Bayview Avenue and Ainsley Boulevard in the City of Pleasantville.
Move.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any freeholder comments?
Madam Chair, I just want the record to reflect, I have to support 430 because I finally got something in Pleasantville, not in Hamilton.
Okay. Any comments from the public?
No comments.
Okay, roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 431.
Public donor agreement with the New Jersey Department of Children and Families for the provision of shelter and counseling services to Avanzar.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Any comments from the public?
No comments.
Roll call, please.
Bennett,
Sorry, my button got stuck. Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 432.
EUS contract with Insurance Agencies Incorporated for the purchase of a treasurer's bond amount not to exceed $1,166.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public?
No comments.
Roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 433.
Intergovernmental Services Agreement with the Atlantic County Utilities Authority to provide laboratory testing services amount not to exceed $35,000.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public?
No comments.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 434.
Amending and renewing Resolution Number 526 adopted October 16, 2018, contract with Civic Plus Incorporated to include the ability to utilize the system for community notification, amount not to exceed $30,900.
Motion.
Motion been made and second. Any freeholder comments?
Everybody was quiet on that, Madam Chair.
I know, they were very quiet.
Everybody went quiet on that one. Madam Chair, through you to Jerry, when they say public notification, is this like storms or what are they notifying the public on?
Yes, it's on emergencies. I mean, Vince is on. Vince will go through that with you if you'd like. I mean, it's for emergencies. For example, and they do it for staff. When we're going to close our buildings, they use that to tell all our staff that we're closing the buildings. If there was an emergency where there was an evacuation, they would be calling the individuals in those locations to evacuate.
Thank you.
Any other freeholder comments? From the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call.
Mute, Jerry.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. We now have roadway solicitations. Can we combine those two?
Motion
Okay,
to
Yes.
combine 436 and 437.
do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made and second. Do we have a roll call?
Bennett,
Sorry, any freeholder comments? Comments from the public?
no comments.
Okay, roll call.
Bennett,
Yes.
Fortino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
okay, Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Now we have some freeholder sponsors, 438.
Resolution opposing 2021 budget defunding of school-based youth services and urging youth services and mental health services be a priority in the upcoming budget. Sponsor Ashley R. Bennett.
Motion.
Second.
Hey, we have a motion and second. Freeholder Bennett.
Hi, thank you. So I became aware of this professionally when we got word that there were going to be a number of different programs cut through the Division of Youth and Families. Some of those cuts include pre and post adoption and kinship counseling services, resource family support, family preservation services, family preservation step-down services in Atlantic, Cape May, Mercer, Monmouth, Ocean, and Salem counties, Lifelong Connections Program, Youth Advocacy Network, and school-based youth services. And so I am beyond frustrated with this, working in mental health for so long. It's always underfunded. It is our populations in the communities that we serve are always the last to be thought about, and the workers who work in these areas. And now more than ever with the pandemic, we've seen a increase exponentially in the utilization of services across the board. I don't care if it's crisis, youth-based services, substance abuse services, every one of us is feeling it. In addition to trying to balance telehealth services with communities that don't have access, let alone maybe even a computer, or even are struggling with symptoms so significant that they're not able to participate in online treatment. And so my goal is to bring attention to this, to our governor, to our state legislative body, that there are workers, especially when we're dealing with economic strain in our community as a result of the pandemic, who hold up these fragile communities, and constantly we get the rug pulled out from under us. And especially now more than ever with our children going back to school on online, it's just really disheartening. We have kids who are frustrated because they're not in school and having to learn on the computer, who are ending up in crisis every day. And so it is just my desire to see the governor really take an honest look at the budget and really seek to put our children and our overall mental health first. If you don't have a job, your mental health is affected. If your business is failing in the pandemic, your mental health is affected. If you don't know how you're going to meet your bills, your mental health is affected. If your children have their schedules changed around because of this pandemic, their mental health is affected. And so what I'm asking is for our legislative body to really take a look at this and to really make a budget that is reflective of the needs of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Greatly appreciate you bringing this to the attention of the board. Do I have any other comments from the freeholders?
Chairwoman Kern?
Freeholder Days?
Freeholder Bennett, we spoke about the mental health of our youth and mental health in general way before COVID. I appreciate you bringing this forward. Today was actually my first day in class with students for the first time in 6 months. They have fiberglass around their desks. I've dealt with this from March, like I said, before even COVID happened. I applaud your efforts. I got goosebumps listening to your passionate plea for the mental health of not only our children, but our residents of Atlantic County. I wholeheartedly support your effort with this. It's been long overdue to focus on the mental health of our residents. And I think that there will be, forget, if you just look on the financial aspect, the savings for our health insurance down the road, if you can address people's mental health issues when they present, it's again immeasurable. So I applaud you for this. I 100% support this resolution, and I really hope what I saw today, my first day back, like I said, is 6 months. They were happy to be there, but they're just not the same students that I would have seen pre-COVID, would have seen 6 months ago. We really need, and I've said this repeatedly, and Freeholder Bennett has said this repeatedly, along with others, we really need to focus on the mental health of our residents here in Atlantic County, not just our students, but their parents, their guardians, the grandparents that are supporting these students as businesses close, as businesses struggle. I've been in contact with business owners since March. We really need to focus on this because it's going to be, you talk about a pandemic, this is an epidemic that we're all going to have to deal with, and sooner rather than later. So I wholeheartedly support this, and I thank you, Freeholder, for bringing this forward.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do I have any other Freeholder comments?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Freeholder Corsi?
I want to commend County Commissioner Bennett for putting this resolution up, and that we would hope that once this resolution is passed, that it is forwarded on to our assembly persons and the senator, and in some kind of way, Ashley, to make sure this makes it directly to the governor's office, whether it's by email, certified mail. When you're talking about the budget process going forward, this is something that you do not want to have on the back burner or be a second thought. And so I think that it is incumbent upon all of us to support this resolution. This is not a D or R or an I issue. It's a people's issue, and we need to all rally behind it and let all our friends on both sides of the aisle know how important it is to not to defund it, but to infund it moving forward. So, County Commissioner, good resolution.
Thank you, Commissioner Corsi.
Are you laughing at my comments, or are you laughing at me calling her County Commissioner? I'm just wondering. I got to get y'all used to being called County Commissioner.
Yes, thank you for that, Commissioner. Freeholder Bertino.
I wanted to also commend Commissioner Bennett on her impassioned plea. I mean, it's the absolute wrong time. Many times I shake my head at the priorities in Trenton that come out. They could find money for some of the most ridiculous stuff I've ever heard of. And for something that's this important, that impacts, all our families, our children, our youth. And I know a lot of the schools out and a lot of the programs that are funded here in the western end of the county, they really need this funding. It's the absolute wrong time. I just wish that the gov will get his priorities sometime straight. But I'm going to be wholeheartedly supporting it. It's the right thing to do. So compliments to you for your speech and your impassioned speech, because it's the right thing.
Thank you, Freeholder.
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
Very quickly, I just want to commend Ashley for bringing this forward. She's right on point. And what she said and what Mr. Bertino said, everyone has said about this topic, I don't understand where the governor's coming from. If there's anything that makes sense in this world, is funding for this particular topic. So I'm in 100% agreement, and let's vote it unanimously. Let's get it to our assembly people and state senator in Trenton. Thanks.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do we have any other Freeholder comments? Any comments from the public?
No comments.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Bennett, Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi, Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Riesling,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
And Mr. Corsica.
I thought he came back.
Corsi?
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, I had to take a call. Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, that concludes the portion of our agenda. Do we have any reports of special committees of the board? Seeing none, do we have any reports, or do we have any unfinished business? Seeing none, do we have any new business? Seeing none, do we have any written communications and petitions? Okay, we'll now open to the public comment portion. Anyone that would like to speak, please type yes in the question and answer box.
No public comments.
They're probably all left for the evening, right? Okay, for the good of the order, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Or do we have anything for the good of the order?
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, Freeholder.
I know it's been a long meeting. We haven't had a long meeting like this in a long time. And let the record reflect that it's 6:15, but I'd be remiss if I did not say welcome back to Tara, who has been out. And we're glad to have her back in the office, and that the ladies, Tara needs to know that the other three have carried on, but I'm sure they have been in touch with her on a regular. We congratulate her on her new baby. And we want to certainly welcome her back.
Yeah, thank you, Freeholder. Welcome back, Tara. Do we have anything else for the good of the order? I'm going to congratulate. I was going to make a comment. I was just going to congratulate some 12-year-old little leagues won the state Section 4 championship. So I want to come out and congratulate them as well. I will now have a motion for adjournment.
On that happy note, motion.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.